Diana, take on your phone.
The microphone.
This is a role play. The Mexican team will present a community rule. Has a role play. Each of team will take a fiction character and describe a community asset, identify opportunity, problems, and solution according to their character. In addition, a craft of the possible implement of the circle model in the community will be presented for the characters. I am the chronist of the top. Hello, my name is Diana. I live in Aculco, State of Mexico. A municipal is located in the center of the country, 1 hour by route from Mexico City. Its colonial architecture in black and white and the covered streets that keep stories and legend will make you travel in the past. The local infrastructure was built in the 19th century. Its main economy is the cheese industry and large-scale cattle rancher and agriculture. In the industrial sector, there are maquilador companies for the production of fabrics and clothing, transforming steel and handcrafts in quarry. There are small factory dedicated to products and baking of cheese, cream, and other derivatives of coke and goat milk. About in natural resource has very fertile soils in which corn, beans, broad beans, and pumpkins are produced. In addition, there are plenty fruit trees, has peach, plums, pears, and apples. It has very large area of forests that used by some communities obtain medicinal plants, such as mushroom, charcoal, and firewood. The main forest has a monolith. Is the service for tourism attraction for hiking in the bicycle or risers. And for continue, I presented my friend Ivan.
Hello, everyone. Well, today I will not be Ivan, so I will be Jose. And well, I will talk to you about the institutional assets. So I'm Jose, and I'm leader of Familias de la Provenza, a non-profit organization. We work here in Aculco, and we develop a work together with the House of the Culture. We have different workshops, such as music, folklore, classic ballet, piano, chess. We gave like a lot of plenty of variety. And we also carry out some cultural events for public promote of the culture. So we have many assets, but this is one of them. Well, this is only a way to link the circle project. So we want to talk to you about two native identities that we identify here in Aculco. One of them is Otomi and another is Charreria. We will talk about them later. And we think that these two identities are perfect to link it with the tourist sector to create experience that can bring together the tourists and the locals in order to understand the importance of these identities in the social, cultural, and economic dynamics. So I hope we can develop more workshops we will have some of them in our meeting. And these workshops are for reinforce the cultural heritage. We hope we can offer a profitable activity that allows them to avoid the loss of the cultural expression, the cultural heritage, with the support of government and institution and programs such as Sectur and Pueblos Mágicos that are. Sectur is Secretaría de Turismo, is a very important tourist organization here in Mexico, and Pueblos Mágicos is also a program that we have the support of them to reach national tourism. But I think that we depend on the success of Circle Project for another projects that can propose this kind of solutions for the good of the community. So my recommendation, it's like we have in the past event like FICTA, Festival Internacional Tierra Adentro, that it's a regional event that can bring together different cultures, such as modern cultures and originary cultures. So I will let you with my next partner. Can you? That is.
Luz.
Yeah, it's Luz. Luz, can you continue?
Hi. Hi guys. Well, in this role play, now I am. My name is Charrita, and Diana, can you change the presentation, please? Thank you, Diana. Well, welcome to the aesthetic asset about Aculco. Well, I said that my name is Charrita, and Aculco is a very cultural place. We have many legends. For example, the witch tree. The legend says that a long time ago, a pretty girl lived in Aculco with long dress and beautiful face. But the guys wouldn't marry her because her family was involved in black magic. This girl dreamed that someday she will become a mother, but she didn't get married and never became a mother. And for that reason, she caught the soul of 3 kids and enclosed them in a tree outside her house. And in the second pic, we can see the tree and we can see the souls. But on the other hand, on September 30, we celebrate the patron San Jerónimo, who is celebrated with great excitement and dances for Santiago and shells, and burning of the castle within the religious festivities, as well as a cultural, agricultural, and livestock fair, games, and family fun. The traditional bullfight also takes place. And I think that the funniest activity in Holy Week that have the traditional pulque tour, rally, ball game, and bullfighting of heifers, celebrated generally on Thursday, Friday, and Holy Saturday. As part of the traditions of the holiday week, on Holy Wednesday, the delivery of the Guarache de Oro takes place, which consists of rewarding the most popular of the municipality. For example, the most strong, the strength family, the couple of the year, the prettiest, the mandilon. So, it's important to preserve the culture in Aculco, preserve the traditions, grow the imagination, and hold alive the identity for the new generations. This is the key for the making Aculco a sustainable village. And I think that we could create an electronic magazine that includes stories about the people who live here, story articles, legends, representative music and dance, pics about our waterfalls, about our suspension bike, and also include living legend routes, which actors and narrators for doing it interactive and involve all the art community in every tourist activity. So this was the aesthetic asset about Aculco. And now my friend Carlos is going to present the economic asset. So Carlos.
Thank you, Charita. In Aculco, we are more than 16 artisan cheese workshops, which produce up to 28 tons of different types per month. Our culture of cheese production goes back to the arrival of the Spaniards, who introduced cattle to Mexico, originating endless recipes that even today persist in the world of mouth of the families that keep the tradition and are schooled in the management of milk derivatives. All our processes are organic, from growing the corn, which we feed the cows, goats, and our families, to harvesting chili peppers, carrots, vegetables, and seeds to feed ourselves on our small plots of land. Despite the scant support from the authorities and local government of the state of Mexico, we have achieved important commercial alliances with the neighboring state of Querétaro for the export of our cheeses, which go perfectly with his long wine tradition. However, although we believe that this relationship has been beneficial for everyone, it has deprived us of a certain identity, since few people in Mexico know that this is where the delicious cheese that they eat is actually produced. One of our proposals to recover our identity as an artisanal cheese town is to create the cheese route, a tour of some of the main workshops in the municipality with 10 activities and tour through the farms to make tourists aware of what is valuable of the cheese production process, which give it its characteristic flavor and make it so special. Another proposal to track the type of family tourism we are looking for is to have a cheese restaurant or museum that tells the general story of our tradition, offers tasting, and introduces the tourist before visiting the workshops. Finally, we know that there are great challenges for our industry, such as migrant to new forms to clean energy for the production of our products. And in this sense, we would like to have the support of authorities to pay for solar panel equipment in our workshops. That's what we want. And I'm gonna present Elena, our touristic guide.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So my name is Elena, and I am a tourist guide here from Aculco. And I am going to tell you all about the physical assets of the town. So, and also the story of the town and some important information. So Aculco is also known as Dos Aguas, and it's a magical town in Mexico. We have in Mexico a program that it's about magical towns. So these towns has to be like important characteristics for being part of this project. So this town has the characteristics, and it's a magical town. And it has been declared also a World Heritage Site by UNESCO for being part of Camino Real de Tierra Adentro, that it's a historic touristic route of Mexico. And this route takes place in several states of the country. Also, talking about the main monuments, they have the principal plaza, they have the Central Park, Parroquia and former Convent of San Jeronimo, the municipal pool. This pool is fed by a water hole that is born in the place, like it's very natural. Also, they have the Sanctuary of the Lords of Nente, that it's a word in Otomi. and this word means next to the river. And we have the Hacienda La Cofradía and the Concepcion and Tinchinu waterfalls. Most of the words or the titles of the places are in Otomi, because Otomi is the native language of the town. Now talking about the local cuisine, we have that the local people offers enchiladas, barbecue, carnitas, mole, traditional Mexican food. And also they offer the cheeses, as my cheese producer friend was saying before, because they are very good producers of milk. And they have farms, and also they have some bakeries, local bakeries. And talking about the drinks, you can find there in that town water, like fruit water. And there is a traditional drink that the name is pulque, and it's from the center of Mexico. And talking about, for example, traditions, as Charrita was saying, they have this important activity that is named charreria. So that's why also this town is very important talking about traditions, because charreria is like a Mexican activity. Also, it's an intangible heritage of humanity, and it consists on set of the skills, equestrian and cowboy skills of the Mexican culture. Well, talking about all the context, they have several attractions, but despite the fact that it has various attractions, our town is not as visited or recognized as Peña de Bernal or other magical towns in Querétaro. As we were talking about, these towns that are more famous, they sell our products in the towns. So, well, that's a shame. And also that is because we don't have a lot of infrastructure. So we can't provide, or we can't receive so much tourists as we would like. So, well, if all the sectors of Aculco get together, more tourist workshops could be implemented, such as handicrafts, charreria, recycle demonstrations, processes of cheese and clothing. And these activities will have a better dissemination, also through the social media. And in that way, the travelers will be more interested in the beauty of the town, and also the environmental benefit will be equal for all the people that lives in the community. So I hope you can come to visit soon, guys. We will be waiting for you very soon. And thank you so much. It's the time now for my friend Alma.
Hi. In this role play, my name is Lupita, and I am human assets and presentation human assets. Sorry. And hello, my name is Lupita. In our region, handicrafts are abundant, but I consider what we have three very abundant: lele dolls, quarry, and cheese. Men and women participate in the artisan sector, also many girls in embroidery. Our crafts are an important activity of our people. I make lele dolls. In the region, we make this type of dolls. Lele in Otomi means baby. That is true meaning, baby doll. They have long braids with brightly colored crowns and bangs, as will their traditional dress, since it represents the clothing of their creators. There is little tourism here in Aculco. Tourists prefer to go to other nearby cities where dolls are also made. I have seen that we call Innovaide in dolls. In Querétaro, which is a neighbor city, they dress them in various ways that identify Mexico. For example, they make the Lele Katrina doll, and the Lele Frida Kahlo doll, the Lele Dark doll, etc. I think that in Aculco we could make a specific and own identity for the dolls. It will be a matter of reaching an agreement between artisans and generating a new proposal. The Lele dolls is a traditional Mexican icon, and as such, it's present on posters, t-shirts, official signs, piggy banks, or murals. The urban artists in the country, they are so representative that in 20 during the week of fashion night or activities of Vogue Mexican magazine, where there was an exhibition at the Museum of Popular Art in Mexico City, where the dolls were dressed in outfits by highly renowned designers. However, this fame does not seem to reach in Aculco. We would like them to know used to. It would be ideal to hold remote workshops, give classes to make the dolls in a short time and send the materials to the participants. They could put their own identity to each doll according to their creativity. Now, my friend Jesus presents the model.
Hello, I'm Jesus. In this time, I am playing as myself. Okay. After getting to know and discovering the culture of Aculco, we identify actions that can continue to benefit the development of communities through tourism. The main handicraft process carried out in the area are the quarry, the production of cheese, and the traditional otomi dolls. The quarry is an activity that involves many hours of effort for the families, a complete work that generates value. One of the pillars of the circular economy is the handling of materials. It will be important to have a process to give a second use to the waste caused by the extraction, the cutting, and carving of the quarry. Giving value to the quarry, the work, and the art of carving can strengthen the sense of identity of the community and prevent young people from leaving their communities. The Lele dolls are a symbol of identity from Mexico. It is necessary to clearly disseminate the meaning and the entail, the elaboration, and seek the preservation of the culture. Okay, the next one, please. And here are some ideas for implementation. Diana, could you move another? So we have some ideas for implementation. The first one is creating a mural with the recycled quarry shell and common tools made by the community, storytelling the otomi culture and considering all the highlights of the town. The second idea is developing an annual thematic festival. The thematic could be the Lele doll, the cheese, or the Mexican charreria, where most of the food offered will be gourmet with local ingredients from Aculco. Another idea we have is developing an electronic magazine of the town where the artisans and cultural information could be found for supporting the local art. Another idea is creating a cheese tour, like a thematic restaurant with gastronomic workshops. And finally is offering a remote workshop with the Lele dolls, giving the option to create your authentic doll in home with your own designs. This is the Lele doll. I picked the smallest one, but you can do a bigger one, as bigger you want. And finally, this is how the circle model works, including the community local asset, specifically the handicraft sector, with traditional dolls, cheese products, and the quarry crafts, creating a way to work with the circular economy with focus on the 7 pillars and looking for a responsible tourism that generates high value. Well, this is the Mexican team. I hope you to enjoy your trip. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Excellent work. Congratulations, guys. I think it was very fantastic because you have followed the process that we made during the last webinars. Very appreciated the game rule, so that's fantastic. We will have some final comments and contribution, but great work. So guys, I asked to the Greek team, and so just for the other teams 15 minutes, not more, guys, because we have not so much time. Okay, guys, so Michalis, Alex, please.
Hello from the Greek team. This is called Freezing Athens. And Alex, can you maybe lower the voice on your laptop so I can? Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so the Greek team is currently in the big process of choosing the community because we have so many good options and we don't know exactly where to focus. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show you our criteria for the specific community that we will choose. And then we will show you some of the options. So basically, we will go through the process of choosing so that you can also see how nice Greece is and how many communities which are so rich and can enrich also our project a lot. So the criteria that we have are the following. First of all, it needs to be a community. Right? So we had the dilemma that maybe we can find a place outside of the main urban areas of Greece where some nice activities, handicrafts and circular economy activities are done. But this doesn't mean that the whole community is included. So one of the main criteria that we have is that the community, so for example, a village or a small group of people, they all participate in the process. So we think that this is very important part to take into account. Then, of course, the handicrafts. So we think that it's quite important that the handicrafts need to be present, not just a social work, for example, but also something tangible. It can be local works of art. It can be food also. I know for the Italians, it's very nice to the process to create pasta, for example. So it doesn't have to be specifically cloth or some other creation. Then we also think that the social aspect is very important. So when you choose a community, it's not only for profit, it's not only to grow, but it's also to offer something to the people who might be disadvantaged, who might have an extra need. So we also think that this needs to be considered.
In this section, it's important what we have discussed is that we are not going to a community that has already a complete plan that is working, and we are just going there to meet them. We want the community to have the illusion, let's say, to work on the circle model, but to have also the need. So we want to match the local assets that there are there, but to build something along with them in the process.
Yeah, basically give them the model so that they can use it later for their activities. And this brings us to the next part, which is sustainability. So we want something that can be continued afterwards. So if it's, for example, a project-based community and then they do something and then that's it, this is not very useful for us. What we want is for them to get the tools and use them in the long term. So the circle model or the methodology, or we will see. And
I would like to add also one. it's important that the community really wants to be part of this initiative. According to our experience, it is very important when you have an idea that the community is on with you on this idea and not in parallel, but to be together. So this is also an important, very important element that we will take into consideration when discussing, to see that they're really also into this idea.
So taking all these criteria into account, we have chosen already a few communities, and we are in our team, we are currently having meetings and discussing and voting more or less, or stating our preference, pros, cons, etc., on which community to use. And of course, you know, when a group is working together, there is always a nice spirit, but not always. Sometimes the opinions are strong and there is clash. Strong minds come against each other and there is strong conversation. So now I'm going to pass the torch to our team, and they will show you some of the communities and what are the ideas behind it.
Hello, I am one of these strong minds that collides with other lovely strong minds as well. So as Michalis explained, we are a small place, but there's a lot of initiatives, and we tried our best to not go with people we knew already, but take into consideration how we can do the best, the optimal, given the circumstances that we already have. And that meant also to have some agreements within the group. So for example, I will tell you now the first example that was with a community that had to do with wool and how they approach wool from goats and sheep, and how they transform it with very sustainable ways. And they take it from the shepherds from around the area, and they do like a very ecological process about dyeing the wool and then distributing it. But for example, me as a vegan, I don't know who else is in the team, #vegans. Anyway, I would not like to be in a situation as such, since it's against my beliefs, regardless of how sustainable it is. So what I want to say is this, that there's very slight colors in all of this process that we're all trying to achieve and understand, and we want that all of us can be 100%, or if not 100%, but like we can all be on point on what we are doing. Nonetheless, the very positive thing with this specific idea that somebody brought on the table was that it had to do with the part of continental Greece, which we believe is actually the one that has suffered the most due to a lot of geopolitical struggles and economic struggles. So it's not like the islands that we usually present. There is another part. We have bears, we have animals, we have forests, we have everything. So we also wanted to focus on that, on who needs it more. And we have found also some communities. One of them was my proposition. Actually, it's on the borders. If you know, we are bordering with North Macedonia and with Albania. We have 2 lakes there that we all really want to put our hands on. And then we have a lot of refugees crossing there. So it was an organization that had to do with handicrafts in terms of, again, wood sculpturing and creating handicrafts like marmalades and sauces and all that. But also it had a more social impact. Nonetheless, we understand the logistic side of it, and traveling there for us and for like the local event would need to take care of later on might create some issues. So again, we're like, okay, let's steer down again and let's travel a bit more to the left part, which is a place which is not a community, so we don't really like that. But it's a place, it's called Tool Makers. It's people who actually make tools for the society that needs it the most. So they have to do with agriculture, they have to do with like first production, they have to do with villagers who ask for tools. So they actually offer a place, a working space. So you can just book an appointment there. You can go, even children can go there, and you can benefit from their knowledge, from their tools, from their space, and you can create some things together with them. And this is one of the things that has been like more voted, even if we don't really all like this tool making, or maybe we don't know too much about it. Nonetheless, we find that there is a social impact. Also, we really wanted to check out how they function in regards to like how they take decisions. So we realized that they all gather together and they take decisions whenever they want to make something for the community, which is amazing. So we like that community-based top-down, no, down to up situation. So we're kind of going there. And yeah, I will leave it now to Alexandros to inform us about the rest ones.
Okay, Mary, good. You tried your best, but I think your suggestions are liking something, and I would like to explain exactly what is lacking. So, okay, I know that you want to focus on mainland, and but what is the beauty of Greece? It's the islands, no? It's the island, and what best island than Creta and Chania? You know, even though I'm from the enemy city from Chania, from Iraklio, there is a special initiative there that has really moved my heart, and it's called Verekinthos. Verekinthos is a great initiative, and it's about a place which is really near the port in Souda, it's called, and it's about a community that used to be a community that was a handicraft community and was producing many traditional elements in the past. But I'm saying, what happened? The time went by and people left, and this tradition started to get lost. So the community and the society thought of an idea after many years. They said, artists, here we have houses, we have places that you can work, so we invite you to revive the community. So this actually happened. There are many handicraft sectors. They're working in ceramics, in producing instruments, music instruments, in beautiful jewelries. Maybe something in
also some leather, I think they make. Go on.
So imagine the smell of the sea and also the smell of creating something all in one. What best from it? I don't know, Mary, if there is a point for you to answer or just covered you.
The point is that we are still judging without having come in contact with the people. So maybe they have it all figured out so well that they don't need us. So that would be the future for us, to actually contact the 2-3 potential people and see what they want from us and what can we do for them. So yeah, let's see about that.
I agree. I have to exit my role. I exit my role now.
He's now friendly, Alex, again. He's not fighting.
Hello, everybody. And this is the process, a bit more friendly, to be honest, but we are debating, we're exchanging opinions, and based on what we will end up in the end, we will decide our community. Our target is in the next week or in next 2 weeks to have a final community that it will be selected against these criteria.
And as Mary said, the next step is to contact, of course, the ones that we think are the most probable, so that we see if they need some help, yes, if they want to participate. This is a very important step, and what we can do together from now on. So this is our process, and I hope you enjoyed our little theater. Basically, we do not fight, we just discuss, but we wanted to make it a bit more entertaining for our very nice audience, which is you. Thank you very much.
Congrats, guys. Yes, Alex is the host, but it's okay. Ok, Miki, tu ci sei?
Sì, mi devi accettare la condivisione.
Yes. Okay. I cannot, Michaelis, Alex, Michela can be host. Okay, Michela, try.
Non in questa, è nell'altro account collegato.
Michela Artus. The name is Michela Artus. There are two Michelas.
There are two. There are two Michela.
Artuso, yeah.
Yeah.
Both Michelas have access now.
Okay, yes.
Great.
Okay. Can you see?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So basically, I can start. Our group, Italian group, analyzed the complex community of Castellammare. Castellammare is a city on the coast of the Campania region, not so far from Napoli, not so far from Pompeii. It's between Pompeii and Napoli and the beautiful seaside of Sorrento coast and the Amalfi coast. So what we can do, we can say about Castellammare that it has a unique position. Basically, it's on the sea, but also it's close to the Monti Lattari mountain, a local mountain that offers a lot of opportunities, not only for tourists, but also for the economy. And after that, we are starting to analyze the physical assets. So what Castellammare has? First of all, Castellammare had, let's say, not has thermal baths and mineral water establishments. That's because the thermal baths are closed now. Castellammare was really famous about the mineral water they produce it, they bring from the ground and they sell it. They say that their water has many benefits for the people, for the health. But now the thermal baths are closed, and also the local train station called the Castellammare Thermal Bath is closed. It's really, unfortunately, it's really a bad thing because this is one of the most important thermal baths in the coast between Napoli and Sorrento. After that, Castellammare has some physical assets that work now. One is the cable car that connects the city, the main station of Circumvesuviana, that is the railway that connects Castellammare to the city of Napoli, Pompeii, and Sorrento, to the Monte Faito, a local mountain that is really important for the, let's say, natural tourism and many reasons. Well, the other thing is the Tranvia. Tranvia was, like I say, a local connection in the city. For many years, let's say the railway, this city railway was used for transportation for the economy of the city. Now it's not used yet, but the idea could be to restore this type of railway, local railway, to become a touristic transportation. Can move. Yes,
So,
thank you, Michela. You can, okay.
when we analyze the cultural and the aesthetic assets, we choose 3 different words or keywords: handicraft, traditions, and history. So for the first one, for us, handicrafts means process and creativity. Process, like the process which the product is arrived at, not just the final products. For example, we analyzed sea biscuit or sailor's biscuits. The names come from the fact that the ancient sailor of Castellammare di Stabia uses to take stock of them with them on long sea crossing. And in the second time, we analyzed the reason why Castellammare is so-called the City of Waters. It has 28 mineral water springs with the different chemical compositions and flavors. So for us, creativity is the creativity of people, how local people is creative, for example, with the pastors inside the Cathedral of Santa Maria Assunta, and in particular case with the San Catello statues. The legends say that only half of the San Catello school was found, so current statue is a reproduction to the local people imagined. With the second word, traditions, we want to talk about the relationship between religiosity and culture. We analyzed the San Catello Fest because we have one, the Immaculate Conception bonfire. So the night of 7 December, the bonfire of the Immaculate Conception are lit in various districts of the town, preceded by another ritual. So in relationship with the Immaculate Conception, we have Fratelli and Sorelle, in English, brothers and sisters, are a group of religious people to devotion to the Madonna of Immaculate Conception. And the last thing is Torrone dei Morti, given as gift during the festivities of dead. This is a tribute intended to exorcise anguish and the death through food, and it's the symbol of the art. So the last word is history, like historical identity of Castellammare di Stabia in the people of Castellammare di Stabia. We analyzed the historical structure. For example, we have two different villas in Roman villas in Castellammare, Villa Arianna and Villa San Marco, they are conserved perfectly after the last eruption of Vesuvius. We have two different thermal baths, actually are closed, but where the location of the 28 different type of water. The castle, it gives the name to the town, Castello a Mare. In the past was an open structure, but unfortunately it's not visitable anymore because it's private. You can go there just for the wedding, for example. We have Reggia di Quisisana. The first time was in a royal resort, but now it's just a museum, like a modern museum. You can go there. And the last thing is the Roman waterworks. It's open and you can find there just one of the 28 type of mineral water that's called Acqua della Madonna. So Roberta?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the word that we think best represent human assets is cohesion. By this word, we mean the lack of communication and cooperation, both up-down process from institutions to citizens and bottom-up from association to institution. Social cohesion means the set of behavior and bonds to affinity and solidarity between individuals for communities, aim at mitigating in a constructive way to disparities linked to social, economic, cultural, and ethnic situation. We think there is a problem of cooperation among the institutions member and Castellammare citizens each other. We think Castellammare citizens have not a sense of community membership. They lack of a sense of strong identity within it. But just as the citizen do not have this great sense of belonging, the city itself does not make it easy to get close to them. Thinking about how to improve the daily lives of its citizens, its inhabitants, is the first step toward making a better place to live. For example, when a Castellammare citizen goes abroad, he is always proud to be Stabiese, but when the same citizen is within his own community, is not so moved by the same spirit of belonging. They it's like they recognize as citizen of Castellammare only outside the town and not inside the same town. So in conclusion, we have a question for you. How can we build a sense of identity and membership for them? How can we make Stabiese proud to be a Stabiese even within his hometown? And with this question, I pass the word to my colleague Marcello.
Hello, and here we are talking about institutional assets, and talking about the public institution, as you already have seen, we can see the Villa Comunale, the Communal Villa, and the public gardens, the Quisisana Royal Palace and the Archaeological Museum, and the thermal baths. But also we highlighted also the community associations that are many, we can say, and we just mentioned a few of them. For example, the Rotary Club, which is an organization of representatives of a wide variety of economic and professional activities that work together worldwide to render a humanitarian service to society. I think that maybe in some of the places in your nations exist the Rotary Club too. Then there is the Youth Forum Castellabad of Castellammare that contributes to promoting the full development of the human person through initiatives aimed at removing the economic and social obstacles that restrict the freedom and equality of citizens, helping to express their needs and their demands to the public and to the institutional side of the city, which is a city of almost 70,000 people in, of course, near Naples. And one of the things that we wanted to highlight is that the community associations such as the AIRAS, which is the association that we are working with here in Castellammare, and for example, the Città Viva and the Youth Forum Castellammare have tried lots of times to propose a different kind of politics and living a social life very different from what is proposed from the institutional side, because you have to know that the City Council of Castellammare from 2004 until now is being temporary receiverships every 2 years. And just like 3 weeks ago, it was dissolved, the City Council of Castellammare, because of Camorra connections. And we think this is maybe the deepest and the strongest problem to the development of the city and to the development of the ideas about this city that also we are analyzing. Because in conclusion, as we also highlighted, the municipality of Castellammare is not stable enough to guarantee the citizens and tourists the protection and the enhancement of Castellammare's historical, human and economic heritage and assets. And a little bit in contrast of what we said before, we also think that the community, the efforts of the Stabia peoples is not sufficiently rewarded, because there is a movement, there is something that there are people that want to move and want to change these situations, but from the top, so in terms of the institutional side, it's coming to be very, very hard to reach and to also just propose these kind of things. And so I'm passing the word to, I don't remember. Or did we, is it the economic assets? I don't remember who is in charge of them.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Castellammare. We are not so about the economic assets, Castellammare has a various selection of economic assets. In fact, tourism, industry, agriculture, and fishing and port activity. Okay, next slide. Going more in specific, tourism is very important. It's not about the thermal bath. It's not about
the archaeological excavation, because in Castellammare there are two very important Roman villas that are ancient building that you can live the ancient Roman community. It's also close to Pompeii, Sorrento, and Napoli, so it's really important about the tourism of the whole region. About the industry, Castellammare has one of the most important shipyards in Italy that is founded in 1783, and it's really important because here they built the famous Amerigo Vespucci, that is a majestic ship that is very important in Italy. About the agriculture, Castellammare, like other cities in Italy, has a lot of productions, like northern suburbs. In the northern suburbs, there are flowers, peaches, apricots, and also typical products like the Tito apricots. And there are also wines, fruits, and local peppers. So, like all the Mediterranean area, it's really important. About the fishing and the port activity, Castellammare has an important port that you can find many products, and fishing represents important asset, economic assets for the community of Castellammare, so not only. So you can say that economically speaking, Castellammare is one of the most important cities in the area. Okay, so moving to the conclusion, we really thank you for the section. We say that we just analyzed all the complex situation in Castellammare. We found out that there is a potential between the community that is really not so put in intersection from the politics. That is a really problem here. But we think that using the material we have in the project and using all the community or the connection in the community, we can find out a really good strategy. So thank you for the attention, and we move to the next group.
Okay, thank you, Valentino. Thank you, guys. Excellent work. In this case, I think that we appreciate a lot your analysis also about some controversial elements. One of these is the politics of the city, and so a place with a great local asset, but also with great local problems. And so in this framework, Circle can be for real a very innovative way to create something changing also the system that currently is affecting, unfortunately, Castellammare. So guys, thank you so much. And now we move to the final group. We move to the final presentation, and it's not the case that this is the final presentation, because the final presentation is from Kenya, is from our friends from Kenya. But why is the last? Because in 20 days we will meet, or some of us meet in Kenya. So please, guys, great attention. Julius, it's the turn of your group. We are all excited to hear from you guys. So you can start.
Hello. Thank you so much. So I'll give this opportunity to Jack, who will lead us.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll be leading the Kenyan team as we make this presentation, as we deal mostly with the Maragoli and Bunyore communities. So we are in Vihiga County, which is located in the western region of Kenya. It borders Nandi to the east and Kisumu County to the south. It has a total of like 4 counties, 5 constituencies, which are Rwanda, Emuhaya, Hamisi, Sabatia, and Vihiga. It consists of the Maragoli, Bunyore, and Tiriki. So let me talk a little bit about their culture, which is their way of life. There's someone's microphone. Okay, let me talk a little bit about their culture, which is their way of life. Some of the traditions that these communities still uphold. They tend to believe in things like circumcision and initiation, where the men are taken somewhere, like in a forest, a place of seclusion. Then once the rites is over, they're able to come back and there's a celebration that takes place. But with modernity, some of these cultures are being rolled away. Then we also have ceremonies like the memorial ceremonies, which take place after maybe like someone has died as a sign of respect for the dead. Then there are also some traditions regarding marriage where we still uphold things like dowry, which is paid, can be paid in form of money or animals as an appreciation to the lady's parents. There are also traditions like name giving, where children in these particular areas are named basing on sometimes the place of birth, timing of birth, or situation. For example, there are names like Kisia, which are named to a person who was born after maybe twins. So in regard to our handicrafts, most of these people in Vihiga County, where mostly we are basing on these two communities, are skilled in handicraft making. They mostly make baskets, basket weaving, and we also have mats. Then we also make things like woven carrier bags. We can also mold pots. And since Vihiga County is mostly rocky, most of these communities have things like quarries. So people like the Banyore practice rocks and stone harvesting, where most of these stones are used for construction. Then there's also the part of where the rocks that are being mined can also be sold. We also have trained most of these communities in rocket stoves, which are traditional jikos that use firewood, but it's a way of conserving firewood, so you don't tend to use a lot of firewood. We also make some traditional jikos from scrap metal and clay. So you're able to mold mostly from the local things that are in the community to be able to come up with something that is sustainable for the community. So when they make things like the jikos, they are able to sell some of these jikos and they can also be used locally. Then in terms of the social aspect, Vihiga County is an amazing tourist attraction. We have things like Kibiru Forests. We also have rocks. We have Maragoli Hills. We also have caves where most of these caves are conserved like worship places where people currently can be able to go and worship in some of these places. Then they also have some of the caves where the Maragoli people believe that some of the prominent people who came up with the Maragoli tribe came from these areas. So these places are good for tourists attraction and tourist activities. In Bunyore, we have places like the Ebsekwe Hills, which hosts like the traditional rainmakers. So if you're around, you can be able to go and visit. Then most of these places are also good for sightseeing, bird watching. You can also be able to take a hike in some of these places. I would also like to welcome some of my team members to be able to contribute to other things. Thank you.
Nicholas.
Julius. Hello.
Nicholas, can you hear us?
Nicholas?
Julius? Okay, guys, just while we are attending, just to inform you that during the mobility in Kenya, we work exactly with about the promotion of the local tourism in Bunyore and Maragoli community. So this is exactly what we are going to implement in practice during the transnational meeting in Kenya. So can you understand the importance from this point of view about the development of a strategy in terms of promotion of the handicraft?
excuse me, there's one addition. We have Jackie, yeah.
Yes.
There's one addition. There's also some cultural festivals that are held in the Maragoli Cultural Festival, mostly conducted yearly.
Okay.
Is it
I
a
think
mic?
this is Nicholas. Okay, Nicholas.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Nicholas. I also come from the Maragoli tribe of Kenya. We come from the western. We live in the western parts of Kenya. Here we have got different cultural activities. Like we have got wedding ceremonies that we normally conduct here, where the woman comes from her parents, and goes to the house of the man, and then you pay some, just an appreciation to the parents of the woman. And also here we are surrounded by hills. We've got very many big rocks. So those 20 days that we've been talking about, when we'll be here in Kenya, we'll have a walk there and we'll be able to see the big rocks that you've never seen them. And you see the birds, you see the monkeys and everything around here. And mainly we live close to where we normally get for the clay for making our pots, the black clay. So we mold the pots. Then after molding, we make them to dry a little bit. After they dry, then we can use dry grass to burn them in order to make them more strong, so that they cannot break when you put in some water. Because those are our local fridge. We don't use electric fridge. We use pots for keeping our cold water for drinking. Yeah, and also use the pots for going to fetch water from the wells, because very many communities here doesn't have piped water to their houses. So they need to go to the rivers to fetch water using the pots. And also we have got the baskets. Normally make the baskets, bigger baskets, maybe for covering our chicken when they are in the house. We cover them so that wild animals cannot come and eat them. So those are our main activities that we normally do around here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nicholas. Julius, I don't know if you want to add something or else from your team. Julius, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Peter?
Thank you, Julius, and thank you, Jackie, for the presentation. I'll just add something small about what I've said, because the Vihiga County, where these 2 or 3 communities are based, as we say, is a land of diverse landscapes. By landscapes, we mean you will see a lot of valleys, a lot of hills, maybe a lot of rocks, and those of you who will come over to this place, I think you'll have an opportunity to see them. And these ones have a lot of maybe traditional and economic meanings to them. And as Jackie alluded to it earlier, so most of these communities trace their origins to those hills. I think you will see some caves where it's believed the origin of maybe the Maragoli and the Bunyore came from, and maybe the descendants currently, they came from those caves. The economic value to the community has not been realized as such, and therefore there is need for maybe various players, maybe political, economic, local, to see to it that some of these areas are able to benefit the community economically. For example, you will see a lot of rocks around. And these rocks are present in almost many of these farms that you'll see maybe on the hills. And because of those rocks, you might not be able to do something like agricultural, maybe planting of trees or planting of food crops. So the best that can help is to have those rocks maybe harvested in terms of building materials, in terms of probably tiles that can help in building materials and maybe building of highways, then they can generate a lot of money for the community. But I know right now the government of Kenya and the local Vihiga County government are trying to come up with a factory not far from where we are, which is called a granite factory, that's going to grind those rocks to benefit the locals. But it's still something on paper. It has not yet been put into practice. We hope in future it can actually be able to help with the local community. Some of the local assets we have also are the handcrafts. My colleagues have also talked about the pots, maybe the baskets, the handbags that are done from the local materials. But again, because of modernization and the importation of these products, people are going away from them. In the past, we could keep water in some of those pots. We could also cook in those pots. But with the advent of modern materials, assets, most of them which are actually imported into the country, I can say maybe 90% of the people have moved from that. But again, if we can preserve our culture and go back to those pots and those hand-woven maybe baskets, this can actually be able to improve the local economy. Some of them, we can actually export them. We can actually help the community to raise some money. We have some natural tourist attractions like the forest that we talked about, the hills, where this, we talk of our descendants came from. Again, we have some rocks. If you walk around, like there's a rock that it is believed Jesus Christ actually stepped on that rock. And when you look at it closely, you're able to see footsteps on a rock. Ideally, it is not possible to have footsteps on a rock. You could only see them maybe on bare land, maybe when it has rained, but actually footsteps on that rock with some in writings on the rock with some foreign languages that no one has able to understand up to date. So that one is also one of the tourist attractions that we believe can generate some income for the community. And again, that can help in terms of promoting our culture locally, nationally, and even internationally. So that's what we believe. And the county where these communities are actually sandwiched in between two international airports. One is Kisumu International Airport, which is about 30 kilometers away, and Eldoret International Airport, about 70 kilometers away. So these two airports can actually help in terms of promoting this tourism, maybe exporting this some of the local products that we can be able to manufacture, and even marketing the economic and the social assets that we're having here as a community. Thank you so much. Julius, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Peter. We are very much happy, guys, to welcome you to Kenya in almost 3 weeks' time. We'll be having you here in our community, and you'll be able to see some of these things practically. And there's also a cultural dance, which they have not mentioned. It is called Isikuti. So those people will be coming to Kenya, you will definitely dance that dance. You'll have to be part of it for you to be completely immersed in Kenya here. So it's also one of the things that we cherish. We just have local drums that are made locally, and there's guys playing it, and we join, just freestyle and dance. So thank you, Antonio. That is our presentation from our part, and you are very much welcome to Kenya. On 3rd April, we are looking forward to receiving you guys here, and I hope you enjoy your stay in Kenya. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. Guys, okay, guys, thank you so much. I think that we cannot wait to fly in your fantastic and amazing country. I think that now we have a more clear idea about some tradition that we are going to meet, and in order to create this new touristic strategy. for real, the meeting will be very practical. The program will be very focused, especially with the meeting with the community, about meeting with the community, especially the meeting with for the promotion of the local tourism in Pugnore and Maragoli communities. I hope that I say correctly. And guys, and in general, I think that today is the final step of a first stage of this project. So we started some weeks ago with the e-learning course. We started with some elements, the basic elements for the future circle model that we are going to design and develop in our communities, and we hope all over the world. Today is a first final step, because now we are closing the stage, because we are discovering the community. So we are entering a new stage of the project. So it's like a step by step, but starting from the next week starts a new stage of the project. Sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I have two dogs and one cat, so you can imagine. And so next week we will start a new stage of the project, because after discovering the community, we start this new work. Next week we start the design of the model, and starting from the beginning of April with the first meeting in Kenya, we develop this stage of design and implementation of the model. So the theory is over. The first stage of project is over. Now we enter in the new world, enter in the new stage. It will be very emotional, and I think we will join. So guys, I thank you, especially because we are closing after 10 minutes. So thank you for patience. Thank you for your collaboration. See you next week. Just one thing for the people coming in Kenya, please coordinate with your coordinators about all logistical aspects, about flight tickets, about vaccination, about everything, because this is very important, because we are starting also the mobility, and all the organizational aspects are very important. So please coordinate always with your organization staff. If you have doubt, don't hesitate to ask them for everything. So I recommend you about this. And okay, guys, thank you so much. We see week, and have a good weekend. Bye. But before, a final pick.
Photo.
Okay. So guys, as usual, 1, 2. Wait, okay. So 1, 2, and 3. And just wait to make a second photo. We are a lot of people today. And 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Thank you so much. See you.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.
A great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.
Antonio, we have a meeting with Julius and Antonio.
Lore, are we going to stay here to have a
Yes.
meeting with?
Yes.
Okay, Alex. Alex. Okay, now I finished closed the recording, but Alex.